Chris Semler is one of the most popular Floodscape 2 YouTubers. He mainly became popular due to his high-quality flood theory videos. He also made the decaying silo grow popular and overall makes really great videos. But his videos aren't the only high-quality things he's made, because he recently released a map named Beach City. Overall, this map is great. It looks incredible and the gameplay is actually fun, and I think it's pretty safe to call this map highlight or even permanent worthy. Now let's check out the video Chris Semler made about this map. Wait, this map took a year to create? And some people are still calling Sulphur Sea better? How? Well, I'm going to go into how this map came to be, and then I'll review it. So, without further ado, here's the history of Beach City. This map started back in 2021, when Chris decided to make a map inspired by a scene from the Steven Universe movie. And looking back at it, it looks pretty bad. In 2022, though, he decided to revise it and theme it like a city that's based off of Floodscape 2. Even though this is a massive improvement, it's still not great. So the logical thing to do is update it again. How long could that possibly take? Anyways, he started making the new and improved Beach City during May of 2023. He said he didn't know what he was doing at first, but after watching the new Spider-Man movie, he got inspiration to theme the map based off of that. And a year of precise building later, we were met with Beach City 2024. There's actually two completely separate variants for this map, and they're both great. I'm going to be reviewing both of them, so brace yourselves for that. So now, after little years of waiting, here's my review on the new Beach City. The first variant will spawn you inside of a sewage area where you immediately have to climb up a truss. Not many people would think about this first jump, but I do because of these arrows. They absolutely don't need to be here, but I'm glad they are. I really like maps that spoil you with indication because then there's no way to get lost. After the truss, you need to slide under an appropriately colored barrier. Then you need to do a few more jumps and then you arrive at the first button. It's pretty obvious that this button deactivates these planks. In fact, it's so obvious you don't even need the indication for it. After that, there's a pretty tricky jump that takes you to the next area of the sewers. There's a few jumps that lead to the second button, which opens the door. Personally, I think this button is easier to get on accident and it feels a little unnecessary, but even the best maps have their flaws, so I'll give it a slight pass. And this leads us to the epic city part. This part takes up the whole rest of the map and it's incredible. I love how the rest of this variant plays out. Oh yeah, there's a whole other variant to this map. Didn't I mention that yet? Anyways, a sign tells you that there's a button over yonder and it's not too difficult to get, but I wouldn't call it free either. It's just a small little route to a fairly simple third button. You then have to go across the zip line, and to say the view you get while on it is stellar would be a massive understatement. This city looks so good and is one of my favorite views throughout the whole map. There's a few more easy jumps after the view and they're all relatively straightforward. But then we get to my only real complaint about the map, and it's these slide barriers that are attached to storage containers. Okay, I just realized that these aren't storage containers, these are actually semi-trucks. So every time I say shipping container or storage container throughout the rest of the video, just replace it with semi-truck. But they're almost guaranteed to require you to perform the slide action twice, and I think it's too janky. Rising inside of the storage container looks, feels, and is weird, and I would like it a lot more if the storage container was smaller. You can probably counter this by simply standing at the very front of the container, but why do I have to think about how to slide in a map? Usually I just press E and then I'm done. But for this, if I go just a little too late, then I'm stuck in the container. This doesn't ruin the map, but it's something I don't like about it. After that, you need to climb up this air quote tower section and then continue on top of the white things. When I first played this variant, I thought the indication wasn't great on this part, but on my second attempt, I realized I was just having a major skill issue. There are a lot of moments in this map that don't need indication, but it still has it, and once again, I like that. If you manage to die due to the lack of an arrow or something, you seriously need to improve on your sight reading game. Anyways, you need to climb up on top of a train and then get straight on another one like it's Subway Surfers. Sadly, the train action stops right there because now you're on top of a very large building. The fourth button will drain the lava and activate these planks. I personally love buttons that drain lava, so this part is pretty cool. After riding down another zipline and getting another cool cinematic view, we're met with a pretty long section that appears to be based off of a broken road. Sadly, you're met with another one of these storage container slide barriers, and they're still as annoying as they ever were. Then we're unfortunately met with a swimming section, but don't worry, it's not that long. It just leads to an exploding button which activates a ladder. This ladder will take you straight into a wall jump. After a few more easy jumps, you go on the zipline that changes your camera angle and forces you to look at the city. The very purple city. And this is the best view during the map. It looks so good and it really makes you take in the sheer size of this map. After one final button, you're met with, you guessed it, another bad slide barrier. And the map ends out with a slow and intense ascent that takes you to an extremely original end zone that's never once been seen before. And that's the end of the first variant for Beach City. But we mainly just talked about the gameplay and it would be a crime to not talk about the design. So here are my thoughts on Beach City's design. The design for the first variant is truly incredible. You could look at any angle while playing this and it would be wallpaper worthy. I could not imagine someone looking at this angle and saying, it looks alright. The design on this map is absolutely masterful. Even the sewer section looks fantastic. In fact, I don't think I've seen a map with better design than this map right here. And it was all made by one guy who simply got inspired from Spider-Verse. When I heard that this map took a year to make, I thought in my mind, most of this time was probably just procrastination. But after playing it, this looks like it could have taken over a year to make. The design is just that good. If you're still watching this right now, take a screenshot of this one frame and make it your wallpaper. Do it right now, you won't regret it. However, I don't think it beats out my current wallpaper. So the design gets a 10 out of 10. There's nothing wrong about it, it's just perfection. The design is impossible to compare to other maps. Sure, some parts of other maps do look good, but tell me, who would make their wallpaper Ignis Peaks other than me? Anyways, now that we have established the design is perfect for the first variant, let's review the second variant for Beach City. The beginning of variant 2 literally starts off exactly the same. It's only until around the minute mark where you realize you have to go somewhere else this time. You need to go over to another zipline with an absolutely incredible view. I know I already said that the best view in the map was at variant 1, but this might just top that. Seriously, this part looks so good. Once again, it probably doesn't beat out my current wallpaper, but it's definitely a close second. After that cinema-like experience, we drop down and there's an arrow that tells us we should probably go to the right and climb the truss. There's a few more easy jumps that are telegraphed with some obvious arrows, and then we are finally met with an actual good slide barrier. I'm still so confused on why we need to have that double slide throughout the first variant. If we just shrunk the shipping containers, then everything would be fine, but it's just unnecessary. Anyways, you have to get the fourth button right across the zip line, and then we're met with another insane looking section. After the zip line, you need to go on a wall jump inside of everyone's least favorite thing, the shipping container. Thankfully, it doesn't last long because there's another wall jump a few seconds after entering. Anyways, you then have to jump on top of a stack of cars and underneath another good slide barrier. Maybe Chris is hearing my cries for help. After doing some more easy jumps, you need to climb up a ladder that leads to that one exploding button. It's pretty easy like all the other buttons from both variants, and it activates a plank. While you're going across this next jump, a train will go by right underneath you. I'm not actually sure if you can interact with the train in any way, but it's still pretty cool that you can make this. Anyways, after a few more jumps, you'll never guess it, there's another train. I really like these trains. They're such a nice touch, and I'm glad more maps are starting to use them. By the way, the flow will start to rise quicker at this point, so make sure to go fast. Then you go on a zip line and wait. Is that a window? After shattering through a window and bleeding indefinitely, you drop down into the next section and then go through another good slide barrier. So far in this variant, there's only one shipping container slide barrier. Anyways, you have to do a few more jumps, get the 6th button, and jump over the magmatic mines lava. And after one more good slide barrier, you're done with variant 2 and you escape out into the beach where there's a light show? Okay, seriously. What is happening in the background over here? Why are there multiple sets of spotlights? Are they congratulating us for escaping? Whatever it is, it looks pretty cool, and it's a nice way to end an overall incredible variant. Now, let's talk about if the gameplay is actually good for Variant 2. For me, I don't think it's just good, but amazing. It is so much fun, and it's even better than Variant 1. The bad slide barriers are mostly gone, and there's no swimming section. Every jump is fun and satisfying to pull off, and there's not a bad moment besides that one shipping container. I don't know how Chris managed to make this map so good, but he did. I'm really hoping this map will be highlighted or even permanently added because it's simply that good. So if you're for some reason watching this video, Crazy Box, make something happen and give this map the recognition it deserves. And that's all I have to say for the gameplay. It's overall very fun, enjoyable, and even better than Variant 1. However, we still have to talk about one more thing. What is that exactly? It's the design. So let's not waste any more time and just get into it. I don't think this is going to come too much as a surprise, but the design for Variant 2 is more than a simple 10 out of 10. The whole last section looks awesome. There is not a single moment where the design is lacking. I think it is practically impossible for someone to hate on the design or even just think it's mediocre. Like, do you see this view on the zipline? This view is more pretty than some of the views from the actual Spider-Verse movie this map was based off of. If anyone were to look at this one view and say it looks decent, I would be shocked. Like, this view rivals any other map in Floodescape 2, including all community maps. It's crazy. Well, no, the map is actually insane, but, well, you get the point. The rest of the map's design is also undeniably stellar. I'm not going to go into too much detail about it, but you probably know how I think about it. Overall, the design is incredible, and I'm happy to sing its praises. Finally, after 2,438 words, several minutes of yapping, and loads of attempts from me trying to beat both variants, is the new Beach City actually good? For me, it's not just a yes, but a resounding yes. There is nothing wrong with either variant, except for those shipping containers, but we can try and look past them. I personally think this map is awesome, and it actually looks like it took over a year to make. Like, I'm impressed that this only took 1 year. For me, it would probably take a decade, as I'm pretty bad when it comes to creating maps. But for Chris, it's a completely different story. I personally think this was totally worth the wait, and I'm glad he decided to redo it yet again. Because, let's be real, these first two versions of the map are kind of really bad. And I'm so happy that he thought that too, because then we wouldn't have this masterpiece. So for Beach City score, I think it's a crime to not give it at least a 9.5 out of 10. I didn't do 10 out of 10 because of those annoying shipping containers, but everything else was just incredible. If this doesn't get highlighted, I'm going to be quite shocked because this is one of the greatest maps ever created, and I think it needs the recognition it deserves. If you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing. Now that I'm only going to be making scripted videos, I'm not going to be posting anything too often, so you won't be missing out on anything. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you later.